If you go back and check the notes that you took after the 10 years in the future video the other week, you are taking notes on these videos, aren't you? There will be a test. But if you go back and consult those notes, you'll recall that English football for the first 10 years of this save has been dominated by Jose Mourinho's Manchester United team. Well, today we play them in the 5th round of the FA Cup to find out just how good we really are. Hello and welcome to Season 12, Part 7 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're away against Manchester United in the FA Cup and away against Millwall in the Championship. Since you were last with us, we had a weird couple of games where we lost 5-4 and 4-1, 9 goals conceded in 2 games. At that point, we had the worst defence in the Championship, despite still being 3rd or 4th, or wherever we were at that point. Since then, mini recovery, beating Portsmouth and Middlesbrough, and we find ourselves, after 32 games, still in the playoff spots and still only 3 points off the top of the league. If we have a look at the mess that is our goals against, though, we've conceded 50 goals this season. The only teams that have... There's a few teams down the bottom half who've conceded more than us. But we've scored 68 goals, which is more than anybody else. So who cares? We score lots of goals. That's the important thing. But this is mad. We're 16 games away from the end of the season. We could still win the title. We could still get automatic promotion to the Premier League. We look quite good for the playoffs. So, it's terrifying to say it, but with only 14 games to go, we're 7 points clear of 7th place. We could be a Premier League team next season, at which point playing against the likes of Man United won't be so unusual. But we are playing against them today. It is unusual. We'll probably get thumped. There is a little bit of transfer news for you. We did sign that last player that we were looking at yesterday. Fabrizio Thedri comes in from Lazio. Yeah, that's where he came in from. 26 years old, 3.5-star current and potential ability, and completes probably the greatest transfer window of business I've ever done, despite selling our star player of the last, one of our star players of the last couple of years. I've never signed such a selection of top quality players in one go before. I'm rather impressed with myself. So this is the team that we're playing for today's game against Manchester United. So we've got Kabashi in goal, a back four of Smith, Bajrami, Jordan and Davidson, Smith, Cato and Mantum are in midfield, Rowdy King in behind, Martel, Taylor, Crossdale and Yannicki. We are obviously going to go away to Man United and still do a 4-3-1-2 attacking. We might get stuffed. There were times, though, when we've used this tactic in the past, certainly in last year's non-league to legend, when we were with Ipswich. The year we got promoted from the Championship with Ipswich, I think we went on a run all the way through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, playing pretty much this exact tactic. So, and we beat some big teams then. So when we're in form, and when this tactic is in form, it is possible that it can do ridiculous things. I'm not saying we're going to beat Man United today, because obviously we're not going to beat Man United today. If they got any of their original players left, it doesn't look that way. We are 12 years in the future now, so we're pretty much living in a world of regens at this point, apart from the odd current player who ends up managing Sheffield Wednesday and getting humiliated by me in a live com because I'm great and he's not. But mainly it's a world of regens. Obviously Martel Taylor Crossdale's a real boy, and hopefully he'll score a goal in this very match to put us 1-0 up against Manchester United, because that would be ace. And they've had the first chance of the game, and it flies over the top of Elvis Kabashi, which is just as well, because he was nowhere near saving it, and we already look a little bit under the cosh. I wonder when the last time a team went to Man United and attacked them was. That's the only potential thing going in our favour. They surely can't be expecting us to come here and attack them. And attacking them we are. So Smith finds Mantum to King to Smith again. Look, we're knocking the ball around Man United. Taylor Crossdale can't keep hold of it. But, he's a League 2 player playing against Manchester United. What do you expect? Less than 10 minutes on the clock. And Elvis, I think, was at fault here. It looked like it was a cross destined for his hands. I don't know if he's pushed it out onto the head of their player or their players headed it straight into his hands from point blank range and it spilled out. But either way, I think Kabashi's at fault for this goal. Let's have a look at the cross come in. It gets whipped across and they... okay, perhaps not so much. It is headed pretty much straight at him, but it's not it's not as point blank as you'd think. His hands aren't up there to collect the cross and it's getting headed out of his hands. It was just headed at him bullet fast. He got a hand to it, which he did quite well to do. It just didn't manage to deflect it wide, so we'll let him off. Conceding from a corner, though, that's messy. And 2-0 down after less than 15 minutes, this is only going to get messier. If this game ends up 8 or 9-0, it might be the only live com you get today because I won't recover from it. And also, it'll take 15 minutes. I've been involved in some 8-0s now. I know how long they take. 6-6 draws, easy. That might be... Oh, imagine if we had a 6-6 today. That would be awesome. Right. Oh, we've got the ball. Are we actually going to have another attack? Davidson finds Cato to Smith. Out to Manton. Manton loses the ball though, and United are attacking on us again. And Cato comes across. See, who's Sean Fisher? Never heard of him. We've got Cato. You all laughed when we spent £500,000 on him. What a tackle at Old Trafford. They still play at Old Trafford, don't they? They do still play at Old Trafford. What a tackle from Adam Cato at Old Trafford. Manton makes a good interception and clearance. And we don't look totally out of our depth. They've just got better quality finishing and we haven't got a very good goalkeeper. Manton to Smith. Back to Manton. Cato. Yannicki. Look at this football. We're away against Man United. Rowdy King to Yannicki. King is in! Rowdy King! That's his 4th goal in 6 games since arriving at Plymouth. He has got one back for us just before half-time. He is going to be the hero of all heroes. I can feel it in my water. He's got an amazing name and an awful lot of ability to go with it. Number 7, Rowdy King. I've got to try and stop myself ordering a Plymouth shirt with King on the back because... goodness me, do I want one. I wonder if I can trade in my Plymouth shirt that still nobody will sign. To be fair, I've not asked anybody for about a month. But if anyone knows any players from the famous Southend League One title-winning team of a few years back, then I would quite like them to sign my shirt before I try and trade it in for a Plymouth one with King on the back. Oh, I hope he can make the step up to the Premier League because that's where we'll be playing next year, he says, when he's losing an FA Cup game, which isn't relevant to anything really. And we're 3-1 down now. My face has gone really pale all of a sudden. Someone changed the lighting in here. Weird. I mean, it's sloppy defending and awful goalkeeping again, is what's happened there. Elvis Kabashi, I'm now starting to understand how we managed to get him so cheap. He's not up to much. It might be time for Thompson to come back into the team, but he's so young and untried. He's played like 3 or 4 seasons for me now at various clubs, but he's completely untested in games like this. Smith gets the tackle in, and Smith tries to release Taylor Crossdale, who, I mean, he is playing outside of his normal role of poacher today. We've got him as the defensive forward. He doesn't seem to be doing it very well, and we've been hit by this bloke again, Thuto Carey. What a name. And we're 4-1 down, and they are just lethal in front of goal. Give this some context. If you didn't watch that 10 years in the future video, I haven't actually looked at what they did last season, but at that 10-year point, they'd won the league 9 seasons in a row, I think. They had multiple Champions League wins. They were just absolutely dominating English football. It was fun when we looked like we might be getting back into it. It's not so much fun now we're 5-1 down with nearly an entire half still to go. They are tearing us apart. I know we shouldn't still be attacking, but, and we've had this discussion before, and I still haven't ever had a satisfactory answer from anybody. We're 5-1 down. Why would we stop attacking now? Because surely the only way... Rowdy King has just scored an absolute beauty. That was genius by Rowdy King. That's his 5th goal for us now. I mean, he is the shining light, bright spark from this game. He's on a hat-trick at Old Trafford. That's mad. I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, why would I stop attacking at this point? If we go counter-attacking now, we're just saying, okay, yes, we're definitely going to lose. Please don't score any more goals against us. If we keep attacking, there's always the very small chance that we somehow fight our way back into the game. And we're here to win. We're not here to try and lose by the smallest amount possible. That's just pathetic when teams do that. We want to give ourselves the opportunity to win. We're rolling the dice a little bit. You can see by our goal difference in the league, sometimes we'll lose 6-2 or something ridiculous. But sometimes we'll go to a place where we have no right getting a result, and because we've attacked and because they're having a little bit of an off day, we get a result. Obviously, we're not getting that today, and that guy's scored 4 or 5 goals, hasn't he? I mean, that's insane. He is just absolutely clinical. I mean, they're not difficult chances, really, are they? But I don't understand how he's only got 16 goals this season, because he scored nearly that many against us today. But yeah, why would I, as soon as we started conceding goals today, surely the idea of playing counter-attacking or defensive football was long gone, wasn't it? Or do I just not understand? Because as soon as we're losing, we should be trying to get back into the game, not trying to have the smallest defeat possible. I don't care if we lose 1-0 or 10-0. If we lose, we lose. But at least if we're attacking, there's a chance it could be a 10-10 draw. If we're just sitting behind the ball, we're not going to draw 1-1 from that 1-0 down position, are we? It all makes sense in my head. And Smith has a pop. I mean, look, we've had more possession than Man United. We've had nearly as many shots as they've had. Yes, they've had 5 clear-cut chances and we've not had any. Well, we've had one now and it's 6-3. See, I would much rather go to Old Trafford and lose 6-3 rather than lose 3-0. Am I wrong there? This is much better value, because there's not every day do they score all 6 of their clear-cut chances. Sometimes they only score 1 or 2 of them, and then our 3 goals that we got suddenly means we've won the match against all odds. You can't do that if you don't roll the dice. But I'm sure you'll all tell me why that's wrong. But anyway, we're going to go and play Millwall now. We're going to go away. We're going to attack. We're going to score lots of goals and see if we score more than they do, because that's how we do football. Right, the only changes we've made is the 2 strikers have dropped out of the team and 2 other ones have come in for their place. So Parkinson and Dixon come into the team. Taylor Crossdale is tired. Unicki has played a lot of games lately and didn't really look with it. For the last couple of games, actually, it wasn't just for his performance against Man United. He hasn't really been on form for a little while now. Joe Parkinson has been asking for a run of games, and to be fair, he's not had one at any point this season, and he's been scoring goals in the very few opportunities he's been getting. So I am of a mind to give him a run of 3 or 4 games just to see what he can do if he has a regular settled spot in the team. And I think he'll work better with Dixon than with either of the other 2, because again, he's a similar poacher kind of player to what both Unicki and Taylor Crossdale are. We've got ourselves into this pickle again where we've got 3 strikers who are all fairly similar, and then Dixon and Hull as the options who can play with the other 3. And it's finding combinations. And despite the fact we've scored all these goals this season, I still don't know who my best 2 strikers are. And I'm not entirely certain what my best midfield is now that we've got loads of new players who've come into it. I mean, we've just signed 3 midfield players, 4 midfield players. We certainly didn't need that many. But we've got quite a lot of strength in depth there now. King finds Smith. And Smith, that was just awful. He should have done a lot better than that. He has been doing a lot better than that recently. He started scoring goals and adding that to his game. Now he's consistently playing as the box-to-box midfielder for us. But that was just rubbish. Part of me thinks swap him over with Cato, because Cato was so good as a box-to-box midfielder when we were at Blackpool. But I don't know. Smith has been doing really well there. Right, Taylor Crossdale's going to come on. We'll swap Parkinson over with him and play Taylor Crossdale as a poacher, because he hasn't had a chance to do that yet in this episode, and he loves doing it. There's no one to come on at right back. Ugh. We'll just bring them both on, and we'll take all that back, and we'll do that. Unicki can play deep, so we'll do the opposite version of what we did at Old Trafford and see if that can spark some goals out of him. I've just noticed how tired Adam Cato is. He needs to be coming off, really. We'll bring him off in a minute. There he is. He's got the ball now. Finds Mantum. Mantum to Taylor Crossdale. He's going the wrong way, but Mantum's got it again. Davidson loses out. We're shattered. Everyone's tired. Apart from Rowdy King, who just wants another goal. He's been scoring for fun. He's creating again. Davidson just manages to keep the ball in. Crosses to Smith. And Smith does do better this time. That's his 6th goal of the season. It's probably his 4th goal since the turn of the year. He is in quite the run of goal scoring form at the moment since his permanent move to be box-to-box midfielder, and that is just a nice little box-to-box midfielder finish. He's late entering the box, loads of space because of it, and just places the shot nicely on his weak foot as well, because he is very left-footed. Right, we need to take Adam Cato off, and Keith Shorthouse gets a rare appearance, and we'll switch him to advanced playmaker. Mantum can go across to be the defensive midfielder. And I know this is another of those times where we should be going defensive now, but Millwall are in the relegation zone. Why change a winning system with 10 minutes to go? Protecting a lead? What's protecting a lead? See, we did tactics yesterday. You thought I was finally turning a corner. No, I was just lost. I am now back on course. Don't you worry. That's a terrible cross from Davidson, who's had a really poor game, actually, certainly attacking-wise. Millwall are in. Kabashi makes the save, trying to make amends for some of his poor attempts at saves against Manchester United. And if we end up not conceding today, he gets a gold star for clean sheetery. But Millwall are coming at us again. They're throwing men at us, but we've got a man over here. Yannicki to Taylor Crossdale, out to Davidson. Davidson's in behind. Another terrible cross. Luckily, it doesn't matter because we've won the game 1-0. And we are still with 13 games to go now. Only 3 points off the top of the league. None of you predicted this. That's who predicted this. Because I asked you for predictions at the start of the season. And no one predicted that we'd actually do it. I know we haven't done it yet, but we're getting blooming close. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.